Danganronpa.
Welcome to the deadly killing game that is Danganronpa Next. This is a social deception game on VR chat, all about investigating murders or getting away with them. This guide will help explain the very basics of the game to you. First off, you need to pick a character card. These character cards start you off with unique powers called abilities, which you can use to your advantage. There are an overwhelming amount, so here, why don't we give you a few easy ones to get you started. Some cards affect the game in certain ways, and some have abilities which change how they win, so watch out for them. They're all unique, so read the ones that are in your game so you know what to expect. When the game starts, it will start in draw phase. In draw phase, you'll draw one or two items depending on what the game announcement says. Simply click on the machine in front of you to draw an item, then put it in your front hand or your backhand. Your front hand has 3 spaces, while your backhand has 1, which is more secure and hidden. If during this phase you have more items than you can hold, you must discard additional items face down. You can also mulligan, letting you give the Game Master 2 of your items, destroying them so you can draw another item. At the end of this phase, all players must return to their dorms. Following this is the first janitor phase. In the first janitor phase, a random person is selected and takes 1 discarded item for themselves, as long as there are items in the discard pile. This player will flip an item in this janitor 2 phase as well, and then can choose to take it or leave it. After that is the blackening phase. This phase happens near the start of the game and after most deaths. In the first blackening phase, some cards do their special abilities before anything else. Afterwards, a random player will be chosen to be the Puppet Master, aka the Big Bad, and the Founder, aka the Big Good. The Puppet Master, also known as the PM, chooses who to make the blackened each blackening phase. The PM only wins if they win their own special trial at the end of the game, known as the PM trial. They also win if all blackens escape with murder. The blackened is a player who wins by killing. Their goal is to kill within 3 nights and not be caught. The morning after they kill, they must complete a class trial without being voted out as the killer to win. The PM and Blackens are part of the Despair team. Although winning in their own ways, they work together to win and benefit when the other one does. The PM and each Blacken can Despair trade, letting them exchange 1 item for any item in the game, but only once per person. The Founder is a hidden hope role that has the power to redirect any kills and blackenings to happen to them. The Founder also has the ability to learn if a player is the Puppet Master before the PM trial. There are a few cards known as Limiteds, which each win in their own way. Everyone else is Hope, trying to vote out the Blackens and potentially the PM at the end of the game. After Blackening phase is Pre-Night, which is only for certain characters' cards' abilities. Next is Action phase. Here you can choose to lock in what you want to do for that night by putting it in the panel in your room. You cannot choose to do nothing. You only have 1 action unless you are using the item cake or if your character card specifies as having more. The character cards with the term free action mean that they can be locked in with another action. You generally can only use 2 actions in 1 night at max. You also only have 1 target unless you use the item energy drink or if your character card specifies it. The target shows you who you want to do things on or with. You can have a maximum of 2 targets on each action. With your action, you can use it to either talk and trade to a player, use your active if you have one, or use a red/purple item that you have. If you are a blackened, you can instead use an action to eliminate a player, killing them. Choosing to talk and trade lets you talk to another player, being sent to their dorm to do so. You can potentially use this time to find out what they did that night, though be quick, as you will be sent back to your dorm after a minute. Some cards have things called actives, only letting you use some of their abilities as an action. Some protect, some give you information, and some manipulate items. However, they are all unique in their own way. Items are self-explanatory, doing the effect it says on the item. You can use blue, white, and purple items as free use, meaning you can use up to 4 of these items without using an action. They have their own separate targets from your action though, but purple items used as a free use must always target the user, and sometimes have different effects when they are used this way. Afterwards is shuffle phase. You have to go outside of your dorm and place all items you used in the green box. This discards those items for you. Once again, if you have more items that you can hold, you must discard the remainder. You may press the trade button to go give items to anyone you've talked and traded with tonight. Once you've placed and traded all the items you needed and wanted to, head back to your dorm. After shuffle phase is janitor 2 phase. The player from janitor 1 phase comes back to flip one more item and either take it or leave it. If a murder is happening tonight, killing phase happens, letting the blackened murder who they have targeted with a lethal effect. This means there will be a trial tomorrow morning. There are many ways to kill and hide murder through different abilities and items. Try to be inventive when murdering, as simply locking in eliminate and nothing else will get announced by the GM. If no one died last night, the cycle repeats until the blackened runs out of time or someone kills. After this eventually happens, the PM makes a new blackened and the cycle starts anew. Once a murder happens, a trial will begin. In a trial, you can flip one face down discarded item as long as you haven't flipped an item in the trial already. After that, players will all state their alibi for the night. If you are not blackened or PM, simply saying your actions and targets as well as any info you learned will do. Do not roleplay. As a blackened, you want to give a fake but believable alibi. You should be aware of an item called a truth bullet, which can make you restate your alibi and have it announced if it was true or if it was false. You'll be allowed to discuss for a few minutes before cross swords, where 2 players have a one-on-one talk and everyone else is silent. After 2 of these, pre-votes begin, where each player says who they want to vote for, though you are allowed to lie. If there is a tie in this section, there will be a scrum debate between 2 players, with the players splitting onto 2 sides based on who they think the killer is, giving rebuttals to statements on why they think they chose the right killer. Only 1 person at a time can talk during this, indicating by holding the talking plunger. After pre-vote and scrum debate, each players do their actual votes on the panel behind them. If the blackened does not have the most votes on them, despair will win the trial, and the blackened gets to punish the class and escape. However, if the relative majority vote is on the blackened, hope wins that round and will receive a hint on one player that is not the PM. Lastly, after multiple trials, if hope nor despair has won every trial, a final puppet master trial will take place. The aim of this trial is to catch the PM. The PM themselves must try to deceive the class so they don't get voted out. The PM might have been doing suspicious things or defending the blackens, trying to confuse people and make the blacken win. Pointing out these moments is your ticket to winning if you are in hope. Now that you've been taught and should hopefully understand the basics of Danganronpa Next, remember, each game is vastly different to the last, with different characters, items drawn, as well as whatever role you are. There's always something new to learn. Good luck and happy killing.